Oh, can't wait for this. We got Heat at Sixers tonight, 4 Eastern. Sixers favored by 5.5 at home. Okay, Paul, who wins?
I think the Heat will drop this game to see the Celtics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they feel like
oh,
they
so
got
you
their
think
number.
they got their
They
eye
think
on
they
the
got their
Celtics?
number, but the Celtics actually want the Heat. This
wow.
is a revenge game. But the 76ers have won 8 straight, and I'm going to tell you this. I think they're going to make a run to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that's who the Celtics are going to play. If you remember, before Embiid got hurt, so since he's been back, they've been on a winning streak. Before he got hurt, they was the number 2 team in the East. Looking like a legit contender. Embiid was looking like a legit back-to-back MVP. And he looks like he's somewhat getting some of his legs back, because I remember a week ago or 2 weeks ago, I said it's not enough time. It looks like he's got some of his legs back to where he's been dominating for the most part since coming off a knee injury. I mean, I didn't expect to see him still pouring in 25 to 30 points every night. So if that's the case, then the 76ers, I believe, are going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, because they beat Miami. Now they got to see New York. I like them versus New York. I mean, you got Brunson. I mean, you tell him in Brunson and Maxey, they're going to go at it. He can probably, even him out. Yep. You know, they both scored 25, 30 points, even him, but they don't have an answer for Embiid.
Well, they just don't.
They don't have no answer for Embiid.
So is they big?
They don't have an answer. And so going into the next round, you figure what, Indiana or Orlando or a team like that, for the next round for 76ers. I don't think they're a team that's just head and shoulders better than them.
Yeah.
I really do believe that it's going to be Sixers and Celtics, with Celtics beating them in 6 because they own the Sixers. They've beaten them numerous times, couple times in this last few years, and that's going to be the path that we're going to see.
Okay, so you were saying that tonight the Miami Heat in Philly will just say,
rest them.
You know, like they'll just say, we'll just walk through this one. We'll just sort of sleepwalk and
I believe that the Heat want to play Boston.
But if the Heat lose, they still got to play.
Okay,
yeah,
so then they would get a home game against the winner of the second game, Bulls.
But this is what happened last year. Last year, Heat dropped the first game. I mean, not that they purposely did it. They wound up winning the second game, which I believe was versus the Bulls.
Yep.
So they'll get that again, possibly.
So I think they lost to Atlanta, then beat the Bulls, and then saw the Celtics. So,
all right,
we good with that.
Yeah.
If they good with that.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw something where Jimmy Bucket said no one wants to see them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Miami.
Especially when he's on the team.
I'm not worried about Sixers or Miami, because even if Sixers lose and they somehow, get the 8th seed to play the Celtics, we got their number. So it don't matter if it's Miami or the Sixers in the first round.
I hear a little fear in your voice of Jimmy Butler, just a little bit.
No. That was an aberration. They don't have
aberration.
They don't have Strus. Strus was there last year.
And Gabe Vincent.
And Gabe Vincent ain't there again.
Yeah.
And then Caleb Martin, I don't know what he turned into last year. He just turned into like an all-star caliber player versus Celtics. He won't do that again. And so I know Jimmy Buckets was Jimmy Buckets playoffs, but he had a lot of help. He had 3 guys averaging 20 versus Celtics, and they won't be there this year. So,
well, the 76ers is certainly, in my opinion, going to win against the Heat tonight, whether the Heat give it up on purpose or whatever the case is. Joel Embiid's been back, 5 games, 6 games now, averaging about 30 points, 9 boards, rounding himself into shape. And I know when you look at a year ago, or whatever the case is, when James Harden was on the floor and he gave him 50 in game 1, and then all of a sudden he disappeared for a couple games. Then he hit another 40-piece on him. Yep. I think game 4.
He did.
Game 4.
Yep.
He got 2 40-point games.
He went 45 and then 42 in game 4. Yeah.
This is a different team. Just like you said.
It might actually be better.
I agree.
But it's a different team.
Yeah.
So to just think that you have somebody's number, this is not the same team or the number that you've had in the past. It's a different approach. So when Embiid is rounding into shape, you say, well, the Knicks, the Knicks don't really have an answer for him. So you figure they walk through the Knicks. Then you say they draw Indy or who? Or Orlando?
You know, they got Indiana,
Or Orlando.
Possibly. Let's see, you got the Knicks. Yeah, Indiana, Orlando.
So
or
then,
Cleveland, you know, Cleveland's in there. Of course, they're in the mix. But I mean, you know, the Bucks are always in the mix. But
if in fact you believe that, and I said it all along, that the 76ers and Milwaukee, because I like Milwaukee, will be the toughest, stiffest competition for Boston, and that still reigns true depending on what happens with Giannis's calf. I'm not just ready because the Celtics have a just wonderful regular season record and they won the division by 15 games to just say they go into the Eastern Conference Final and they're going to win it all and be in a championship against whoever comes out of the West. I'm not ready to do that because we did that. We did that last year.
Who's the biggest threat, though? No, this is different. This is different. You don't just win a conference by 13, 14 games. This is different than last year. You got 2 new pieces. You got a championship caliber point guard who's a leader, who's one of the toughest guards in the league.
Why is it different?
You have a third 20-point scorer.
But why is it different for the Celtics roster, but it's in makeup and their style of play this year and what they do, but it's not different for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Sixers didn't add much. They didn't add the unicorn, and they didn't add Drew Holiday, who's one of the most.
Oh, y'all still call him a unicorn? I didn't know y'all did.
He's an original unicorn.
I just didn't know y'all still called him.
He averaged 20 a game.
He averaged 20 a night.
I didn't know y'all still called him that, though. I thought that went away in New York.
But I'm saying they got better. Like, did Philly get better? I don't know. You are what your record says.
You just said they got better. You just said James Harden off the floor, they got better.
I think they're better without James. I do think they're better without James Harden. They got more of a flow to their offense. Maxey.
So they better. So it's not the same team that y'all saw last year.
They look better. They look better. You know, the record don't say they better. I mean, does it? The record doesn't say they look like a better team.
They missed Embiid, man. They was a better team at the start of the year. You know that, Paul. We just said the man was almost in the MVP, where he was in the MVP conversation. Looked like he was going to go back to back.
Everybody's in the MVP conversation. I mean,
so he didn't look like a back-to-back?
He did. Definitely.
So, Paul, the Bucks are done.
They're done.
I'll say it right now.
So it's going to be
They're
Pacers
done.
versus Sixers in the.
Okay. The biggest threat.
Winning y'all first round.
Hey, the biggest threat to your Celtics by far, times 10, is Joel Embiid.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
I did have a Sixers source tell me, who I've known for a long time, tell me yesterday, there's no way Joel will make it through the whole playoff run unscathed. That he'll have something go wrong, but it always does. And maybe he was being pessimistic, trying not to jinx it. But the point was, you need him to be scathed. You know, you need something to go wrong, because if he's right against you guys, he is hard to deal with because he is a nuclear weapon. When he's
weapon, we saw him shrink in the big moment.
And he shrank. He did. But remember, he already had his knee issue against you guys. He's wearing a big brace on it.
Knee issue.
Yeah. Their team is better this year. I like Oubre. I like Maxey. I like the chemistry of it. They're having more fun, right? They just feel better.
Yeah.
But the point is, you guys should win it.
Yeah.
You should. And look, the Heat. The last 5 or 6 times I watched Jimmy, I don't know. He just doesn't look right to me. And again, is he going to flip a switch? Can he?
He's done that.
Okay,
you know,
but he's going to have to flip a big switch this time.
Get that. We saw
because they are missing key pieces.
Jimmy and playoff Jimmy is 2 different animals. I mean, I saw what he did to Milwaukee last year.
Yeah.
It was just like a completely different player.
Yeah.
So it's like Dr. Heckle and Mr. Highway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, the point is they are missing some key pieces, and your team has one of them who's going to be a key piece for you against Denver.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah, Gabe Vincent. Okay,
so Boston Celtics.
We got to get back to the Nuggets one last time, because the key to beating for the Lakers to beat